Hello and greetings. This is Lookman. Um, have you considered, some people don't know how to pray? Some struggle to recite words of prayer. Some rely on others for prayer points. Some are in dire need of prayers. Some require a structure to their prayer. Some will love to pray regularly. Some just need concise prayers. So, what's the idea? It's a curated business idea for a prayer app. It shall be available in languages of choice and for different prayer points. It brings up different prayers at the tip of the finger. It contains a bank of prayers and from a variety of sources. As for the language, it could be English, there could be translations. It might not even be in English, maybe you might do it in just languages of choice, etc. Now, you could leverage different cultures, different people, different religions. You can also leverage the internet. Now, the format of the content could be audio, text, maybe video, or a combination. Some of the functionalities of the app, it shall have a filter for selecting prayers. It could have periodic updates or additions to prayer points. It definitely needs to be user friendly. It could be audio or text. It could have instructions in audio or text, and this is in different languages. It shall have a search button so that you can easily search for the prayer you want or the subject area you want. It shall have feedback options, feedback from the users so that you can improve the quality of what you are offering. It could have a share button so that users can share specific prayers with their family, friends, associates, etc. It shall have an option for you, that's if you're the user, to add your own prayer. So, for example, Lookman wants to pray about maybe some success in content creating, etc. I can include my own prayer. So that will be also part of my own prayer points. And of course, this could be shared with others so that the app could be updated. It could be in text, it could be in audio. It shall also have frequently used prayer points. So, for example, you're using the app and there are specific prayer points that you use very regularly. So, at the tip of a button, it will generate your frequently used prayer points. It shall also have a star rating. That way, the quality and control of the product and service can be monitored and improved. It shall have relatable prayers, not just random prayers, but prayers that are practical and relatable to the users. It could also have an auto replay of chosen prayers. So, for example, maybe you've had particular prayer points and maybe you want to repeat it weekly or daily or something like that. You can actually do an auto replay of those prayers. It should be easy. It should be easy to curate for favorite prayers. That's the easy curation of favorite prayers. So your favorite prayers, you should be able to either prioritize them or to compile them together. The prayers shall be in simple language, simple and understandable language. There could also be daily, weekly, or periodic prompts for prayers. There could be opportunities for affiliate marketing. That means your users can actually spread the word to their family, friends, and associates and possibly monetize in the process, etc. Now let's talk about some of the value proposition. You can use it for different occasions. The prayers could be with family, friends, and associates. The prayers, the prayers could be comforting for those in distress. There could be prayers for those seeking direction. Maybe you want to get married, you want to get a job, etc., etc. So, there should be prayers there which should guide you before you make your decision. Also, for those seeking success, there should be prayers for those. There should be periodic prayers. You might want to do them daily, weekly, or whatever your routine is. There could also be private prayers, for you in your quiet area. And there could be public prayers. Maybe you are in the midst of other people and you want to make a prayer, general prayers for the congregation or for your community or whatever gathering. There could also be curated prayer collections. So, you can have your selected prayers, from the app, and you have them as collections. This might be one collection, it might be 2, 3 collections, so that you use them instead of checking each of them individually. You can just repeat it at your convenient time. So you can, for example, maybe you say particular prayers every morning. You can just bring up those related prayers that you've curated, and then you can just pray them every morning. Another benefit of the app is that it improves spirituality. It's also easily accessible. You can have easy accessibility to prayer points. It guides the prayer process, etc. Now, before you embark on this business idea, you need to do your research and development. You need to do your market research, product research, competitor research. You need to do some research about your target audience. And you also need to do research to make sure that the project is commercially viable. Otherwise, you might waste time, effort, and resources creating a product that nobody will buy. Now, considering the marketing plan, especially if you're using online platforms, you might consider upsells. That means while someone is on your website or your platform, if they purchase the product, or even if they don't purchase it, you can prompt them with other products and services which may be a bit more expensive, or maybe you might prompt them with products and services that are less expensive, which is called the downsell, or you might actually prompt them with products and services in the same price range, which is cross sales. So you can do all that automatically on your website. Obviously, as part of your marketing plan, you might want to have a website whereby you display your products and services. You might want to consider having a blog on talking about related matters and all those other types of things. You might also want to consider having a podcast, maybe. You might want to have an online store, which might be a platform for you to sell your products and services. In addition to these products, you might want to have complementary products and services. You might want to use affiliate marketers. They might spread the word for you and get commissions for whenever they sell any of the products or services. You might also want to use digital marketers. That way, they can leverage the digital space to market your product and service. You might want to consider using influencers. Influencers are usually those who have great following, maybe online or offline, and they mention your product and service, and hopefully that will drive sales as well. You might also want to consider using social media marketing. You might want to explore referrals. Those who have used your product and service can spread the word for you. And of course, related to that is the word of mouth. People can talk about your product and service, and hopefully that will help with the sales figures. You might want to explore digital media. You might want to explore digital media, online platforms, etc. You might also want to explore traditional media, maybe print, maybe newspapers, magazines, etc., radio, TV, etc. I think these are called traditional media. You might want to sell this as an individual product, or you might want to sell bundles. So, for example, if you have a range of products, assuming you are buying them individually, maybe the price is £10 each, just as an idea, maybe £10 each. But if you buy two or three products, if you buy maybe three products at the same time, which is called a bundle, instead of the customer paying £30, maybe they may pay 25 or £27 or thereabout. That's called a bundle. So that could be part of the marketing plan. Now, you might also have complementary products and services which you might want to sell. You may have niched products and services, products and services related to, the prayer app, things relating to that industry. You might want to consider spiritual mentoring services. Some people are quote unquote lost spiritually and they need mentoring. So you might offer that as a service. Another complementary product and service is naming ceremonies. Most people, excuse me, most people who are spiritual, they have a naming ceremony whenever there is a birth, and that is usually done by religious clerics. So that might be an additional product and service you offer. And if you don't offer it directly, you can actually signpost people to where they can get those products and services, and you get your own commission by doing so. I think that's called affiliate marketing. Other related products and services are funeral services, marriage services. Even if you don't offer them directly, you can signpost people to those products and services and get your commission. Spiritual study services. Some people might want to learn about the Quran, about the Bible, etc. So you might offer the spiritual study services. Bereavement services. Again, you can either offer that service or signpost people. And by the way, bereavement services goes beyond just burying someone. There's the spiritual side of things, there's counseling, etc. So those are things you might explore. Another service which might be complementary is counseling. For example, you have children and they are wayward, etc. Sometimes a spiritual counselor might guide them and guide the family on the right ways to follow. Another one you might explore is collaborations. Other people might want to collaborate with you, and you might make some money from that, and so on and so forth. Now, for your value proposition, here are some questions you might want to ponder. What problem are you solving? Is your product or service affordable? Is the business scalable? Is it for a season, a lifetime, or is the product going to be evergreen? What's your unique selling point? What's special about your product? What's the compelling reason for someone to purchase your product? How often could your product be used? Will the purchase be once, or will it be a license whereby people pay for it maybe yearly or something like that, or every 5 years, they have to buy it to have access to it. What value does it offer? What demographic could benefit from its use? Could you sell complementary products to these demographics? So, for example, if your demographic is people from 25 to 40, for example, are there other products and services that you can sell to this group of people? Could you have lifetime customers? That means customers that will continue patronizing you with your different products and services almost for a lifetime. Could you sell the product on autopilot? That means you do the initial work and the money keeps rolling in, maybe when you're sleeping, etc. Could it be a source of passive income? Could you automate the sales funnel? Could you create a mailing list? Could you have a lead magnet? Could you market and remarket other products and services? Have you compared the cost to the benefit? Could you better your competitors? Are you reinventing the wheel? Do you have a unique twist to your offer? Is there a compelling reason to patronize you? So these are some questions you might want to ponder over, and hopefully that will help with your value proposition, what you are proposing to your buyers to buy. Now, some benefits of the products or the products could be a spiritual tonic. The products could be a spiritual tonic. It could help family bonding. It could bring about tranquility. It could improve spirituality. It could resuscitate hope for the hopeless. It could build faith. It could help overcome despair. It could bring about sense of purpose. It could add latent value to life. It could help in overcoming life challenges. It could help create positive mindsets. It could add value to humanity. It could promote spiritual bonding. It could offer a lot of value individually and collectively. It could create jobs and create wealth, etc. Now, on what platforms can this product be? It could be on an app, it could be on a website, maybe on a social media platform, maybe, and any other platforms you might think of or that come up in the future. Now, some of the threats and weaknesses to this project. It could disrupt traditional spiritual practices. It could disrupt the status quo. There are some people who might need the products but are IT illiterate. It might not be affordable for some people. Some people might not have accessibility to digital devices. There might be lack of telecommunication network in some countries. Some people might would love to use the product but might be illiterate. Now let's talk about some of the finance and money matters to ponder. Obviously, you need money as a vehicle for most activities. So you need to think about funding. How are you going to fund the project? You need to do your budgeting. Have an idea of how much the product will cost, how much you're likely to get back and when, etc. Financial forecast, etc. You also need to think about investors. If you haven't got all the money to carry out the project, you might consider investors to invest in the project. You might also explore crowdfunding. You might want to consider a profit sharing formula so that if investors or people who are crowdfunding invest in your product or service, how are you going to share the profit? You might also want to do costing and pricing. For the costing, you need to have an idea of the cost implications of actually bringing up this product to scratch, both the capital costs and the running cost. So you need to compute all those, and then you need to have an idea of the price of the product. Now, in pricing it, the price has to be competitive. It has to relate to the value you're offering. I have to take into consideration your competition, etc. And finally, relating to finance and money matters, you need to do your accounting diligently, for tax purposes and so on and so forth, and transparency and all that. Now let's talk about the monetization plan. One, you could monetize by selling the products or services. You could explore affiliate marketing, whereby you are selling other products and services through your platform. You can explore in-app purchases. You could sell multiple products and services. You could collaborate with like-minded people in other projects and in other projects as well. You could have sponsors from time to time. That's one of the ways of monetizing. You could have adverts on your platform. You could have different price plans such that, for example, if your product has a one-off price of maybe £100, just for example, that may drive away some people. But if you have a price plan whereby people can pay maybe £5 every month for maybe 25 months or something like that, that way you are optimizing the clients or the customers that may purchase your product and service. Another price plan might be pay £2 every week, but there's no end date. So you might actually get people who buy that. You may sell your product with a one-off plan, or you might do periodic payments, which may have an end date or may not even have an end date. And that's another way you can monetize. Relating to that is a license. When you have the license, people will have access to the product or service as long as they keep paying, renewing their license. So, for example, somebody may pay £5 every month and they continue to have access, or maybe £60 every year or £50 every year, and they continue to have access to the product and service. And this may or may not have an end date. And of course, you might think of other monetization plans. Now, the content creation strategy or methodology. Now, you can use your intellect to create prayer content. each of us have our intellect and our unique ways of writing down prayers or saying prayers. So you can leverage that. You can do regular content updates. That means you keep updating the content from time to time to make the content richer. You can leverage existing content. For example, in religious religious um, spaces, there's a bank of prayer points which you can leverage. Be careful not to plagiarize, although I don't think there may be plagiarization issues. Um, you might want to create a Facebook group of like minds, and this may be a source of ideas because, for example, if the Facebook group is relating to spirituality, etc., part of what you may be promoting is for people to say prayers for each other and things like that. And this may be a source of content for you. You may you may tweak the wording to suit your purpose, and that way there are no plagiarism issues or things like that. Excuse me. Apart from creating your Facebook group, you can actually join relevant Facebook groups as necessary. Excuse me, those who are doing something similar, and that may from that platform you might get ideas as well. It may not necessarily be just Facebook. You might leverage other social media platforms. Or you can organize online prayer competitions. You might mention a prayer point and ask people to send prayers relating to the prayer point, and that way you're able to create content around such prayer points. You may want to leverage the internet for content ideas. You might want to leverage religious and cultural prayers. You might want to create content in your own words rather than copy and pasting other content. That way, it allows for a bit of authenticity. You might want to make the content in simple and relatable language. You might want to encourage users to share content ideas, and you might want to incentivize users as necessary if you have the budget. Now, some of the resources required for this project, you might need a team, either a permanent team or a temporary team. You might use freelancers as necessary. You might also have collaborators. You might have investors. You need to have relevant skills to execute the project or have people who have those skills. And you might also need internet access and relevant equipment. Now, desirable skills that are required: digital skills, organization skills, interpersonal skills, language skills, spirituality, communication skills, entrepreneurial skills, marketing skills, basic legal skills, project management skills, outsourcing skills, content creation skills, and resource management skills. Now, I think this is the last part, which is to do with legalities. Definitely, if you're doing this as a business, you might want to consider having an exit strategy. Maybe after if the business is a cash cow, maybe it might continue running itself. But if at some point you want to sell the business, you might want to put that into consideration when doing your business plan, etc. You might also want to include disclaimers. You don't want a situation whereby people say, "Oh, Mr. Jack Lookman, you suggested this particular prayer point, blah blah blah, but I'm still suffering, blah blah blah." So you need to put in disclaimers. At the end of the day, prayer points and prayers are prayers. They might or may not be answered. They may be answered immediately, or maybe the answer may come later. So, yeah, not God. So, at the end of the day, you are just suggesting prayer points. So, you need to put in the relevant disclaimer. You also need to include terms and conditions for the use of the app, just to safeguard yourself. You need to protect your intellectual rights, maybe by way of copyright or otherwise. You have to avoid plagiarism, both yourself and those who are using your content. You don't want to go to other sites, copy and paste whatever they've done. You could get into trouble. You might also need to register your business, either as a sole proprietor, business, limited company, etc. You need to be aware of the GDPR, that's called General Data Protection Regulation. So, in the process of using your app, people might put in their email addresses, etc. You have to be mindful of the way you use their data so you don't get into trouble. And if I think that's the end of this presentation. If you require the transcript, please visit jacksempowerment.com and the transcript will be available there. And I hope you've got value from this presentation. And if so, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, reposting. And I want to say thank you very much for your time. This is Jack Lookman signing off. Ireo, Irekabiti. You might also want to consider checking our different websites, jacksempowerment.com, Jack Lookman at Yahoo, jacklookman .co.uk and jalu.com. So those are some of our other websites, and we are also on different social media platforms. Just do a search for Jack Lookman and then you should find us there. So thank you very much again. Ireo Irekabiti.